So I always felt that this 2015 Carolina Panthers team was an extremely likable roster. Even in reality, when they had that 15-1 campaign, they had their, every touchdown, the ball was given to a kid. Just, between Cam Newton and guys like Ted Ginn Jr., who of course plays a huge part in this dream season for the Panthers. Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, just a lot of likable players.
The Panthers players weren't always the likable bunch of 2015. Tempers flared between Cam Newton and Josh Norman during a preseason training camp, a brawl that wasn't uncommon between many Panthers players. On the field, Carolina was one of the worst teams in the league. In 2 DSFL seasons, the Panthers had 7 wins and 25 losses. The Dream Season 5 series determines the greatest team of the 21st century. As the DSFL 5 season began, many were skeptical that the 2015 Panthers would win any games at all. Welcome to Bank of America Stadium in a prime-time battle to begin the year from Charlotte, North Carolina, where the 2013 Seahawks tangle the 2015 Panthers. Half-loaded pistol, inside run, and with a head of steam, Jonathan Stewart loses the ball. Recovered by Maxwell. Touchdown, Seattle. Seattle brings out the punt team. It is to the 20, taken on a hop at the 18-yard line. Ginn loses it, picked up by Farwell. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Seattle. 2 fumbles from the Carolina Panthers result in points for Seattle.
I think some of the struggles for the Panthers really came down to that receiving core. And when you look at it up and down, and there's a lot of names that Ted Ginn Jr., Jericho Cotchery, Devin Funchess, who had a great year, none of these guys really jump off the page at you. They're very reliable possession receivers. But really, I think it was the lack of a star at the wide receiver position that did lead to their struggles in the season.
Former undrafted free agent Corey Brown and NFL journeyman Jericho Cotchery makes up most of Carolina's starting receivers. Those receivers combined for 27 drops during the DSFL 5 season, 3 drops in the opener against Seattle. Defense helped restore the Panthers' confidence early in the season. Rodgers gets rid of it in the traffic, tipped and intercepted by Josh Norman.
And they had a really good defense. They had Pro Bowlers at multiple positions. They even made Kirk Coleman a Pro Bowler at the safety position, as well as Josh Norman, who was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler that season.
Snap to Rodgers, who throws into traffic, intercepted by Josh Norman. That's his 2nd pick of the football game. The Panthers' defense set a franchise record with 5 takeaways in Week 2 against Green Bay. Rodgers drops, sets up the running back screen. Jackson loses the football. This man has been a takeaway machine.
Luke Kuechly is a perennial All-Pro. He's a perennial Pro Bowler in his own right. He mans that linebacker position pretty much better than almost any linebacker that I've seen in the past few years.
A week after Luke Kuechly forces 3 Packer fumbles, the Carolina linebacker helped shut down the high-powered Colts at home. Down by 10, here comes Peyton Manning. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Roman Harper in the end zone. The Panthers have knocked out the Colts 16-3.
Luke Kuechly, man, I don't know if there's ever going to be another linebacker quite like him. I remember watching him in college. He played at Boston College, and he was playing Florida State in a game that Boston College was not playing very well in. And I looked at the stat sheet at the end of the game, and I think he had like 17 tackles in a game that they had no shot of winning. And that was really the first time I ever saw him play, and I was just enamored by this guy. And when he got to the NFL, it was just more of the same.
But he is so talented. When he is not in that linebacker position, when he is injured, that team is not as successful. That team is not able to operate on all cylinders. That defense is not able to do what they need to do in order to win games.
The next game to win was the Panthers' road opener against 3-0 Kansas City. The Chiefs led the conference with 68 points scored in their first 3 games and would continue their hot start in a Week 4 contest against Carolina. Mahomes is back, scans the field, cocks and throws to the wide open Kareem Hunt. Touchdown, Kansas City. number 27, for a 27-yard touchdown for the Chiefs. Whitaker is the deep back. He has one carry this year. They'll toss it to Fozzie Whitaker, and he scores. 15 plays, 76 yards in 4.5 minutes. At the time, Carolina's game-tying drive was their longest possession of the season. But 2018 MVP Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs completed an even longer drive over the final minutes to win the game. And now the Chiefs have got a goal to go here. Inside run to Hunt, and he is in. Touchdown, Kansas City. And the Chiefs put together a masterful drive. The Chiefs mount a comeback at home and improve to 4-0 with a 20-13 win over the pesky Carolina Panthers.
The Chiefs are an interesting matchup for a dream season. A lot of these dream season teams and players are from yesteryear, so you kind of get to reminisce about great players that are no longer, entertaining us on TV right now.
But the New Age Chiefs are fresh on the minds of DSFL fans everywhere. And in Week 4, courtesy of 2 takeaways from the defense, Kansas City comes back to beat the Panthers in the final seconds. Carolina's offense was committing an alarming amount of turnovers and was costing this team a chance to make the playoffs. In an effort to end the slide, Carolina's captain Cam Newton was called upon to save the season.
Going into the DSFL Season 5, I really thought that the Carolina Panthers would be one of the teams that was at the top. And when I say that, I mean that, of course, they were a team that went 15-1 in the 2015 NFL season. Of course, they had an MVP in Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, the 2015 NFL MVP. He was Carolina's larger-than-life quarterback, which was shaped by his unusual journey to NFL stardom. A journey that took a turn to Blinn Junior College of the NJCAA. Newton was selected first overall by the Panthers in the 2011 NFL Draft. Similar to that of his collegiate career, Cam Newton's brash personality and playing style was the source of constant criticism early in his NFL career. But that skepticism was silenced in the DSFL 5 season, as he gained 399 yards rushing, the most by a quarterback in dream season history. Nine-yard scamper for the Carolina quarterback, first down Panthers. Led by their quarterback, the Panthers offense enjoyed their strongest 2-game stretch of the regular season. The pass is reeled in by Corey Brown. Touchdown, Carolina. The Falcons defense torched to begin the game here against Carolina at home. The Panthers embarrassed the eventual NFC South champion Falcons. With 287 yards and 16 first downs, Carolina seemed to have shaken off their early season struggles. He scrambles again, and Cam Newton is in. First rushing touchdown of the season for Cam Newton. In Week 6 against Chicago, Cam Newton accounts for another 2 touchdowns, then watched his defense close the game. Fires over the middle, Ed Dixon, touchdown, Carolina. The Bears are knocking on the door of their first points of the game. First and 10, here's Grossman. Intercepted by Norman, and Carolina's Josh Norman brings it all the way back. The Panthers have taken a 16-0 lead. The Bears hadn't faced the defense quite like the Panthers, who racked up 23 takeaways and returned 3 of those for touchdowns. With just 4 games remaining, the Panthers were tied for the NFC's 3rd seed and well on their way to the DSFL playoffs. Panthers improved to 4-2. Next week, the Panthers will be on the road to visit the red-hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Them being pretty much a run-first kind of team with a mobile quarterback. When you have teams like that, when you have strong defenses, and Ron Rivera, he's a defensively minded coach, the sky's the limit when it comes to the defense there. And I feel like he makes players around him better just by being on the field.
Ron Rivera won a Super Bowl as linebacker of the vaunted '85 Bears defense. Now as a head coach, the Panthers defense was turning his team into a championship contender again. but talks of a title quickly disappeared as Carolina faced their toughest stretch of the season. Week 7 of the DSFL brings you the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Carolina has looked like one of the best teams in the league and among the favorites to win it all in the dream season. The 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers boasted one of the NFL's greatest defenses, the perfect test for a team scoring 19 points per game since the opener. Carolina's defense was keeping Cam Newton in the game, but the Panther quarterback threw 2 more interceptions and a heartbreaking loss decided on the game's final play. So the game comes down to this. 18 seconds left here from Tampa. The Panthers need the touchdown to tie the game. It's a 2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line. The Panthers' Cam Newton beginning the possession inside their own 20s down to the final play. He dumps it short. Here's Stewart to the 10. At the 5, he fights for the end zone and is taken down short of the goal line. The Panthers were 1 yard short of overtime. In the words of so many players and coaches, this was the most devastating loss to date. But as their journey continued, Carolina fell into a tailspin, losing complete control of their playoff hopes. It was a heartbreaking stretch in their season, but somehow they would have to turn it around or this team's season will end.
It gets said every year, right? All you have to do is get hot at the right time and get into the playoffs, and anything can happen.
Playoffs weren't on the mind of Carolina during their brutal late-season slump. The last-second loss to Tampa Bay was compiled with resounding defeats to the hands of St. Louis and New Orleans. This team looked nothing like the 4-2 club to begin the year. The fact that Carolina was still alive for the playoffs was nothing short of a miracle. Earlier in the week, the red-hot Rams squandered their chance to knock the Panthers out when they were upset at home to Philadelphia. That loss gave the Giants a chance for the final playoff spot, but New York lost to the Falcons, who would have made the playoffs either way. The miraculous results in Week 9 was just the start of Carolina's unbelievable run.
You see, when you are at 4-5, that is kind of like a point in time where you're like, okay, we can either man up and win the rest of the games in our season or win some of the games in our season so that we can go to the playoffs, or you just drop off the radar.
Welcome to Lincoln Financial Field in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are here on a Sunday night to conclude the regular season, and the 4-5 Eagles play host to the 4-5 Panthers. The winner makes the playoffs as the 6th seed representing the NFC postseason. The loser is eliminated. It is a playoff game in Week 10 of the regular season. Win or go home. Quick 5-step drop. Wentz looks to his right and fires downfield. The pass is caught to the 2. Touchdown, Philadelphia. He finds Shelton Gibson. The Eagles go the length of the field and have taken the lead here at home. Both defenses have been incredible so far. Eagles 7, Panthers 3. Wentz looks, good time, throws an outcut, nearly picked off by Norman. That would have been a house call. 3:47 to go in the fourth quarter. The Panthers are 98 yards away from a win and a trip to the playoffs. Newton hands it off. Inside to Stewart. That is a 7-yard scamper and another Panther first down. Newton takes off, breaks a tackle, 30, 35, 40. Newton slides across the 45. We haven't seen that in just about the entire game today. Throws a slant. This time Brown makes the catch in traffic and picks up 9. And Carolina has just a few seconds to go in regulation. A touchdown wins the game. The Panthers have marched from their own 2. They have been on the field for nearly a dozen snaps. Newton looks downfield. He's back to the 12. Fires over the middle. Stewart has got it. Touchdown, Carolina. 98-yard drive. And that gives the Panthers the lead with 17 seconds to go. What a drive from Cam Newton. The quarterback who had been much maligned this season guides the Panthers the entire length of the field. The Panthers, in shocking come-from-behind fashion, knock off the Eagles by 3. The 5-5 Panthers have advanced to the playoffs as the NFC's 6th and final seed.
I think Jonathan Stewart, the piano man, I think he's a fine running back. I think that when he came into the league, he was part of a two-headed back attack with D'Angelo Williams in 2008 when the Panthers went 12-4. And I remember both of them had over 1,000 rushing yards. And I thought that they were both amazing players. Jonathan Stewart, I feel like, flies under the radar because he's not a flashy player. But he's a guy who the Panthers needed on their team. Cam Newton is a shifty guy. He has a lot of mobility, and he's also big. So Jonathan Stewart was able to take the load off of Cam Newton and help him out. Really, I believe that the best friend for a quarterback is a good offensive line and a running back that can be successful.
And it was the running back of Carolina, Jonathan Stewart, who was headed to the playoffs. Rodgers from under center, drops back at the 27. He lobs it right, and that pass is picked off. One to beat at the 40. There's Rodgers, and Kurt Coleman is gone. 2 pick sixes from Rodgers in the first half.
They had a lot of good players that were complimentary of Cam Newton. They had a pretty good offensive line. They had a pretty good running game.
In the rematch at Seattle, the Panthers had a run game for the record books. Inside run to Stewart, who breaks tackles from everybody. Foot race to the 20, and Stewart is in the end zone. 59 yards. What a run. Maybe the play of the year for Jonathan Stewart. 1st and 10, back to the ground, inside to Stewart, who sheds a tackle, and Stewart is gone again. This is a 69-yard touchdown for Stewart. Well, the Panthers lost by 31 to the Seahawks. They may end up winning by even more against the very same football team that embarrassed them earlier. What a performance by Jonathan Stewart.
Whether you're a Panthers fan or not, just a lot of guys that you would enjoy watching play and are just really smart, good football players. And I don't know if this team was going to be a favorite by any means to either make the run of the Super Bowl they did in 2015 or in the dream season. But this team is sneaky good, and it's now happened twice in reality and in the game. So, and they might not have been a favorite to go on this run, but it's pretty impressive.
The Panthers' playoff run was already the longest ever for a DSFL wildcard team.
So I feel like while I didn't expect them to be the best team, of course they didn't have the prestige of being a team that won the Super Bowl. Of course, the 2010 Packers and the 2013 Seahawks, they did win the Super Bowl, but it's really interesting to see that the Panthers, despite not winning the Super Bowl, were able to get past that. Were able to get past those two teams in the playoffs.
Carolina was winning road playoff games with an uninspiring passing attack. Their 99 pass yards at Seattle was the lowest total of the season, but those struggles were overshadowed by their run game and Luke Kuechly, who won the league's Most Valuable Player award. His 12 forced fumbles are a single-season record. Kuechly's unit continued their dominant defense in the next game at Atlanta. Panthers bring 4, inside run to Freeman, and he is smoked by Kyle Love in the end zone. Love brings him down for a Panthers safety, and Carolina has taken the lead. 19-13, the Panthers lead the game. 1st and 10, the Falcons are 54 yards away from a win. Ryan takes a shot deep downfield. The pass is picked off at the 6. Intercepted by Ron Harper of Carolina. The Panthers are going to the Dream Bowl. What a play by Harper. He snares the ball from Gabriel with one hand. Carolina has stunned all 3 of the best teams in the NFC, including the Falcons for the conference championship. Who could have imagined after a 4-5 start what this team could do? The dream has become a reality for now, as the Panthers are headed to Miami and play the Chiefs in the Dream Bowl 5.
The Chiefs are an interesting matchup for a dream season. A lot of these dream season teams and players are from yesteryear, so you kind of get to reminisce about great players that are no longer, entertaining us on TV right now. And between a 2015 team and this Chiefs team, very recent team, so it really didn't have the same flavor as maybe other Dream Bowls, just due to the fact that both of these teams are still extremely recent. I'd say 90% of these guys are still on our televisions today. So it really felt more like just a modern NFL game, and it really didn't have that historical twist that other dream seasons have had. But I think because of that, the rosters were known by the fans a little bit more. They didn't have to go on Wikipedia to find out who that quarterback is for a team or something like that. So the fact that it was both relatively recent teams, I think, did give it a different twist and why it was such a great game.
And the wait is over as we bring you to Miami for the Dream Bowl 5. The Chiefs and Panthers meet for the ultimate prize of the DSFL 2020. The 2015 Panthers, very few could have even anticipated this club as a shot to win the ultimate prize. Wait! Good protection. He shuffles, he throws, and Hill has got it. Touchdown, Kansas City.
He threads the needle in the back of the end zone. This is one hell of a throw. And they might be able to go into the half with the lead if the Panthers aren't able to do something.
First and 10, the Panthers, they'll go to the ground. Here's Jonathan Stewart, who gets a good block of the 40 and breaks a tackle. Jonathan Stewart outruns the Chiefs defense. Jonathan Stewart, 74 yards, touchdown, Carolina.
They caught the Chiefs napping, thinking they were maybe just going to run into the halftime and run out the clock here, but he ran all the way to the end zone, making a few guys miss. Jonathan Stewart really making a case for that MVP.
Blitz is on, and here's Travis Kelce, who breaks a tackle and is down to the 28-yard line. It took a while for the Pro Bowl tight end Travis Kelce to get involved in the game. That's a 20-yard pickup. Snap, handoff, inside to Hunt, and he strolls in. Touchdown, Kansas City. The Chiefs were yet again overwhelming the Panthers in the second half. With 2:25 to play, Carolina's offense was reeling with only one first down since Stewart's touchdown run. In a twist of fate, quarterback Cam Newton, who fell short in the Super Bowl of 2015, has a second chance to win his Panthers a championship. This would be Cam Newton's final act of the year. Panthers line up at their own 25, and maybe the most important drive of the year for this football team. Newton throws over the middle to Olsen. That is a gain of 13. 2 minutes to go in the Dream Bowl 5. Panthers down 7. Here's Stewart out of the backfield, and he spins out of bounds in front of Murray.
And Stewart's adjustment to get this ball and still turn it upfield is very impressive. It almost looked like Cam was throwing it into the dirt.
They're at the 47-yard line, third play of this drive. Newton is back and sets up the screen. Stewart gets a block, 40, 35, and he has run out of bounds at the 34. Running back screen again. Stewart's at the 20, at the 10, and Stewart is run out of bounds by Ragland at the 5.
Call your friends, tell them we got a ball game here in Miami. The Panthers have figured it out. Screen passes to the one guy who's made plays all day down in the red zone. This is getting good.
Now on 3rd and goal, the Panthers spread it out. No Stewart in the game. From the 4, Newton looks, good protection, throws into the end zone, and Cotchery dropped it. That would have tied the game. 4th and goal coming up.
That has got to be the sickest man in America. He was wide open. He could have checked his email while catching this pass. It was thrown a little behind him, but, Jericho Cotchery's a veteran of this league. He knows how to adjust to make that catch, and you got to feel for him here, Nick.
Who knows if that winds up costing them here. On 4th and goal, they're at the 4. If they're stopped, the game may just be over. Newton looks, he throws, and Cotchery has got it. He redeems himself in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina.
Yeah, I guess Cotchery just wanted his touchdown to be a little more difficult, look a little better looking back on it on TV later. But, after that drop, his ability to block that out of his mind, have short memory, and make the more difficult catch one play later, stuff a legend.
On 4th and goal, Cam Newton's final pass of the season is a touchdown to Jericho Cotchery. And for the first time in Dream Bowl history, we are going to overtime. The Chiefs go 3 and out. Dustin Colquitt is out to punt to begin overtime. It is returnable by Ginn to the 35. He spins away from 2 defenders, gets a block of the 40, makes a man miss. Ted Ginn is loose. He slips a tackle from Jenkins. No way! Ted Ginn, touchdown. No flags on the field. The Panthers win the game. Touchdown, Carolina. And he not only makes the play of the game, He single-handedly helps win it in overtime. The Panthers have won the Dream Bowl 5 in overtime over the Chiefs.
It gets said every year, right? All you have to do is get hot at the right time and get into the playoffs, and anything can happen. And the Panthers are a great example of that in this dream season, this run to win 5 straight games to get into the playoffs there. And, they didn't look great in the first half of the Dream Bowl, but they stuck around and they were able to pull it off thanks to great heroics by Ted Ginn Jr., the ageless wonder, as I've called him multiple times.
After that 4-5 starts, I'm sure even the most pungent of fans did not see this one ending the way it did. Jonathan Stewart is the player of the game, but Phil, the play of the game was from the return from Ted Ginn Jr. It seemed he broke a tackle from the entire Chiefs football team.
Personally, when Cam Newton was struggling, I wasn't one who thought that he could turn things around. Of course, I thought there was a possibility that the Panthers could go to the playoffs, but I didn't expect for them to go on that huge run at the end of the season.
But really, it's the epitome of getting hot at the right time and really feeling like no matter what game you're playing, no matter who the opponent is, that you have a chance to win. When you can rattle off 5 wins in a row, your confidence has to be sky high. And I think it showed here as they were able to hoist the trophy at the end of the year.
The Dream Season Football League determines the greatest teams of all time. But it's the stories like the Panthers that will captivate the world along the way. Congratulations to the 2015 Carolina Panthers, the greatest team of the 21st century.